God damn it.
A little. The other great thing about this is it says Casual Friday because we don't have a. I can't tell.
We used to produce all of these ourselves. What happened?
I know, it's so crazy. I can't tell also, oh, there it is. I was saying for a second we have 0 people watching, so I was like, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Winners Lounge. Oh, man, I have one. Here it is. Yes, sir. We're doing this old school style. Old school back here on
This is preschool, dude. Preschool
This
style.
is preschool, not even old school. It's preschool. What's up, everybody? At the Winners Lounge post-game show, Nuggets just get another impressive win. They just keep winning, guys. They just keep gritting and grinding their way to wins. I love it.
The grit and grind Nuggets, dude.
The grit and grind Nuggets. We're presented, as always, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR if you did. You won a little bit of money. Dev gave us some winners, not all winners, but more winners than losers, which is good. Look at this all-star cast we have in the Winners Lounge today. I've got Eric, whose hat matches his decor.
I know. Look at me. It's almost as though I designed both. And look at me. I've traveled into the Matrix.
You have. You look good. You have by far the best set of all of us. Down in the bottom corner over there, I got Superstar Dev.
Look at me. Look at me.
All right. Well, that was one way to do this. And then, of course, the king of Thornton himself, the OG of OGs, Jeff Morton. Jeff, what is in SNL when Adam Sandler he did the Opera Man? That's what it is. Opera Man. You have a little bit of an Opera Man look.
I do, and it's embarrassing. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get fully vaccinated, the second thing I'm going to do is go to the DNVR bar.
Hell yeah.
You don't see this stuff in live.
I kind of want to be honest with you. I feel like this is a great look for you. It's very unique. People will always remember everywhere you go. People are like, remember that guy. So I think you should stick with it. Speaking of good looks. The Nuggets may have found the best version of themselves. All it took was injuries to everyone. You bring in you bring in a 2-way, you bring in a 10-day, you get a 5'10" rookie. You bring in all these guys, and all of a sudden they are unstoppable. Unstoppable Denver Nuggets. The winners and owners of the #1 winning streak in the NBA. I don't know if you guys knew that. 4 games is somehow tied with the Timberwolves for the longest winning streak. I'm feeling great about this win. Jeff, I'll let you start us off, buddy. Well, I'll let you start us off. What's your first takeaway from watching this game? Oh, yeah, turn off the music. I forgot.
Yeah, get rid of this goddamn music. Just so everyone understands, Adam has a whole library of music. He played 3 or 4 of the ones, and each time after playing it, he's like, is this the one you hate? Is this the one you hate? And then when he settled on this one, this is the one I hate. And he not only played it, he played it for a very long time.
The worst part is I can't hear the music. That's why I forgot that it was playing, because the way it's set up, I can't hear it. So that
music is what Jimmy Buffett listens to when he's shopping for slacks.
What does that even mean?
I just love that you said slacks. That's my favorite part of that, though. My takeaway is just basically how awesome, absolutely awesome, that defense was in the quarter. That was just insane. With entirely the second unit and Michael Porter Jr. A shout out to that entire unit, man. That was just unbelievable. I was so impressed.
What I'm not impressed with, Jeff, is your internet connection. I say, are you on Cricket streaming through the Cricket phone or something?
What's wrong with that?
You might have to log out and log back in, or close some windows or something there. I think I got the gist of what you were saying.
But Jeff, we live in a time where you can judge a person entirely on their internet connection. And Adam is judging you harshly right now, and so are all of the viewers, and they're right to do it.
Well, I'll go to the quiet one today, Superstar Dev. You don't seem as hyped as we all do for this butt whooping that the Nuggets just put on the Raptors on the second night of a back-to-back.
We're 4 minutes into the show, and you have still been talking. The music has been going. I have not gotten my chance, but since we're here. I love the way that the Nuggets are playing, and a lot of these other teams, when you look at like Giannis, you look at James Harden, everybody builds their team based off of their best player and the needs and the fit. The Nuggets have done the same thing in a different way. Like they're putting him with high IQ players that just know how to play around them. It's just different without having to have the ball in a guy's hand, like Jamal Murray, who's so talented. Now everybody has to play winning basketball. You have to play the right way, and that's why it's starting to like work in its own unique way, because Nikola Jokic just demands so much with the ball that you have to be a high IQ player around him. So you just see real basketball. This is what real basketball looks like right now. And it's not to like take a shot at Jamal Murray. It's just as different when you have a player that's so talented and can score whenever he wants to. You're not playing the same type of way. So it's coming together for the Nuggets.
Yeah. Why do you hate Jamal Murray so much, would you say? Is it his attitude, or what is it, Dev?
I think Jamal Murray is an amazing point guard. I really do. I think he's a really good player. I just think that it looks different for the Nuggets right now. So there's really nothing against Jamal. He's been everything for the Nuggets. And I've also kept saying that the Nuggets go as he goes, but we're starting to see that if you play the right way, then you're going to win. So it goes as Jokic goes because he's the best player, of course.
He is, but this is the thing about this Nuggets team is they've had to reinvent on the fly, and they're a different team. I mean, they really are not playing that same style of basketball. They can't. What they are is a team that can really get after you defensively, and who have two on the offensive end, have two just transcendent players. And I mean two. I mean, Jokic is the MVP, and he's the MVP because of his offense primarily. But Michael Porter is quickly, in my opinion, evolving into this guy that just there really isn't a bad shot with him. His shot making is sublime. And tonight, he I think after the game he said, "I had an off night tonight." He's right. He was a little bit off tonight. Still hyper efficient though. 8 of 19, 3 of 8 from 3, plus 16. Jeff, where are you? Oh God, he's frozen again, isn't he?
No.
Oh, there you are. There you are. You were
no. I'm right here. Can you hear me?
I can. Give me your Michael Porter impression from tonight.
Michael Porter impression? I had an off night. No, it was not a great shooting night, but he did everything else better. Am I breaking up again?
Keep it going. We'll give it a few minutes here, see if we can't get this to work.
I don't understand. I have the strongest internet in Thornton.
Your takes are too strong for this internet that you have.
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe you just pipe it down a little bit.
So anyway, if you can hear me, I thought Mike had an offensive night, but he still got 23, and his defense in the fourth quarter was absolutely amazing.
His defense is sort of like, he in the first half, it looked like he was on the second night of a back-to-back with a bum ankle. Like it looked like, okay, he wasn't quite there, quite dialed in, but he was part of that fourth quarter unit that the first 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, Toronto had 6 points. Think about that. 6 points in 7 minutes. That's an insane defensive stretch, and he was part of it. And I feel like, we're enough games into it that I think that second unit actually is capable of this level of defense. Shaq Harrison is a legitimate defensive stud. Right. You've got PJ Dozier, who, by the way, PJ Dozier is hilarious. Plus 25 tonight. He goes 4 of 11. 1 of 6. He has 10 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. If you told me that, and the amount of minutes he played, which was 28 minutes, you'd be like, okay, that was a bad night. Plus 25. He's hilarious in how much he can impact. But again, it's that second unit. You start putting pieces out there. And then tonight, J. Mike and Paul Millsap, Dad had another good game. You put those defenders and one guy, Michael Porter, on the court, and it just works. They get so many stops and they overwhelm you. It also reminds me a little bit, Dev, it's like football. When you get, a 2-score lead, as they had like a 10-point lead, right? Then you throw some defense out there and you get to blitz, you get to be aggressive, and all of a sudden the team's trying to catch up, but they're always on their heels. And that's what's happening with the Nuggets right now.
I'm glad that you didn't go to like the 60s with this football reference. I was actually waiting for it to come together. But yeah, it does work. It goes together. And also, like we've been talking about it, that second unit, they're not scoring a ton of baskets. They're not, out there doing like fun things. They're playing the right way. They're playing like they're locked in on defense. They have guys that have been, trying to prove themselves in this league, and they're like playing prove-it mode throughout the whole game, and it just works. It works. They're like switching it up with Jermichael Green and Paul Millsap. They have guys, and those are the vets. Then you put out the young guys that are out there running, and they're trying to prove themselves. Shaq Harrison, PJ Dozier. you have the right mix, and you don't have a star. You don't have anybody that like has to get the ball, that has to make everything happen for them. It's just, if you do the right thing, this happens. If you play defense, it does not matter what you do offensively. And also with that, now Jokic is starting to be able to rest. Now Michael Porter Jr. can rest. And when he comes in, he feels comfortable with that second unit because it's not on him the entire time. So Dozier, every single game, like that's something that's fun to just look at. Is it doesn't matter if it looks like he had a bad game. You go to that plus minus, it's huge because he changed the whole game with like while he was in there. And that just goes to show you can't always go off of like what you see in the point. And everybody's big on he's not making shots, he's not doing this, but he's impacting the game in so many different ways. And you're seeing that every single game.
Dude, he really is the plus minus king, dude. He
kind of is.
Or he's the plus minus fool. Like it really is just no in between. He's either plus 35 or minus an incalculable number. And it's like there's no in between. PG Dozier is so confusing. You know what I thought was really interesting tonight, though? Like Shaq Harrison was running with the starters for a little while, and it was like working really well.
I think, let me say this. I've said this for a long time. Athletes. Like defense and athletes around Jokic is the key, and you need spacing too. And I do think at the highest level, like you start getting to the playoffs, and the further you go, you're going to have to be good at everything. But I do think if you just put athletes around Jokic, he just makes up for everything else. You put so much pressure, and he's an athlete, man. He's really quick, really long, and just plays hard.
For sure. It's amazing to me how they've transitioned into becoming the Memphis Grizzlies. This has been just grinded out team. They went from this kind of dynamic, flowing offensive team to grind it out. Every possession is valuable. If anything, and I said this on my podcast today. If anything, they've gone slower. They're slower than they were, and they were like really bad. Not bad, but they were really slow before. So they've just taken it and gone like this.
Jeff, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is if it's gonna end up working, man. This internet connection. You gotta upgrade from Netscape.
I've got Juno.
Maybe somebody's on the phone.
Actually, why don't you upgrade?
Yeah.
Why don't you upgrade to Netscape? You're sub Netscape at this point.
I've got dial-up.
The youngins watching the show don't even know what Netscape is. Jeff, you'll be happy to know that I have now segued to being the old head. Dev the other day told me all my football references are 10 years old, but so I don't.
Which was a compliment. He was like giving you a few years. Like most of Adam's references are like I don't know, Bronco Nagurski or something.
Like, look, I'm fully cognizant of my own age, but I'm glad that as Adam is getting older, things are he's working into the dad spot in the.
This is terrible.
It's true, but unfortunately, Jeff, I think we're gonna have to. I just don't know if it's gonna work, man. I'm sad.
Can I just tell you the worst part about Jeff being the old guy is that we're the same age, Jeff and I. I'm older than Adam. Adam's the old head. So you guys are just losers, is what it turns out.
I'm telling you tonight, by the way, that we're not going to talk too much football, but tonight was the draft, and I got to say, tonight was the ultimate. Like I had feelings for the first time in so long, and they just went away.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was the reason I'm here at the bar, and you guys are not. The draft show is happening. I was part of the draft show. I was downstairs interviewing people, asking them what they were expecting for tonight, how it was going to go. And it didn't go well. People unhappy. We had the quarterback that absolutely everybody wanted them to draft. But there were two quarterbacks that everybody wanted them to draft, both well within reach. And they took the cornerback, who's a great cornerback, but bad vibes, bro. Bad vibes.
Bad vibes indeed. But getting back to the Nuggets who are just giving us good vibes. Like honestly, today would have been a little bit of a bummer, I think, for people that are fans of all Denver sports, which is what we are, and we're trying to like unify the tribes of Denver into one thing. We're trying to get Dev, but he won't join us. But it would have been a really rough night. But this Nuggets team, man, every time you get bummed by them, they're like just trust, man, we got this, and that's how I'm starting to feel that way again. We talked last game about our buddy Tony, friend of the show, Tony Niehaus from Run Pure Sports, he texted me halfway through the fourth quarter, 14-2. That was his prediction, that the Nuggets were going to finish 14-2 or 12-2, whatever. And he might be right. I'm starting to buy into it. Dev, are you buying into this Nuggets team and that they can keep this rolling?
Absolutely. Like, do you see how they played on the second night of a back-to-back?
Crazy.
Jokic has played every single game in the most difficult season there is, as far as like having to play so much in a short amount of time. Michael Porter Jr. was like, we're not going to say hobbled because he really wasn't out, but like that was something that could have scared people off. They're playing without their starting point guard. They're playing without their backup point guard. They're playing without their starting small forward. Like, they're playing without so many different things, and they're still figuring out a way to do it every single night. And also, they're winning the close games. They're blowing teams out. Times that, like, I remember 2 years back whenever it was a close game, it didn't go the Nuggets' way. Now, if it's a close game heading into the fourth, I feel comfortable. I look around and I say, well, the Nuggets have Jokic. You know he's going to close it out every single time. And that was the difference. That was the difference early on. He was learning the way. He was learning how to figure out how to beat teams by himself, like late down the stretch. And now they're getting to the point that he gets to sit in the fourth quarter. We were not seeing that earlier in the year. Now he's being able to sit, and it's because his team is whipping ass. So like that just makes it a little bit – that makes it different and way easier for him. And I know he's way happier for it, while also being the MVP of the league. Like that's great.
Yeah, it turns out like the Nuggets' success is just that Nikola Jokic is incredible. Like, we have all these other players.
So true.
Like, we're like, we lost Jamal Murray. What are we going to do? We lost Will Barton. What are we going to do? And then they're like, what about a guy that no other team wants? Shaq Harrison. They're like, yeah, that works. That's awesome. Bring him in. Like, it just the steadying force that is Nikola Jokic, the dominant force that is Nikola Jokic. I mean, he could do whatever is required the team needs at any given moment in time. And then it allows a player like Michael Porter Jr. to just flourish, do whatever he needs to do, whatever he wants to do, because when the chips are down, you can just go into Jokic. We get to the point where people are playing freely for that reason. Watch out, baby. I'm back to you know what? Smuggets time. Let's go.
Oh, my God. He's back to the Smuggets. I can't believe it. It didn't take that long.
I was born this way.
I want to go back to Jokic, though. We can take this one player at a time here to kind of zero in. But, you know, what's great about Jokic is, and he's the only player, maybe Steph Curry is the only other player that I feel this way about, dominates the game in so many different ways Jokic does. But if he also doesn't need you to know that. Like, tonight was a game where he was great. He was actually a -4, surprisingly, but 19 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. For Jokic, that's a well below average game. But he did enough, and he got out the way. Other guys start playing well. Cool. Fourth quarter, he taking over. Cool. I'm calling it a night. And he's just so content. And I think that the culture that the Nuggets have built over the years is a credit to Michael Malone. It's a credit to Tim Conley and even Josh Kroenke and all those guys. But I think it's more than as much anything, a credit to Nikola Jokic, because when your best player is so willing to be like, hey, it's your night tonight, or I don't need to be at the center of this. Let's kick out. I'll make the pass that makes the pass that gets a bucket. And tonight, this was just such a game like that. It was a dominant Jokic performance without it feeling like a dominant Jokic performance, in my opinion.
Not to say that it correlates or anything like that, but like that's kind of the difference between him and the other MVP candidates. And maybe that's the reason that he's able to play so many more games than them. When it's late in the game, he's not out there pressing because he wants stats. He's not out there vouching to like try to be back in the game so that he could, burst, like he could do everything that he can. And they're like, it's meaningless stats. He just wants to win. And when he does enough, he's like, okay, give me the night off. Like, give me I'll be back. I'll do the same thing tomorrow if you ask me. Like, I got to do everything that you need me to do. But I'm willing to rest in the fourth quarter. I'm willing to let other people shine. I'm willing to give the ball to this other player because I know later on down the road is going to help us. That's just the type of player that you have with Jokic. And it makes it easier for especially a role player and also a young player, Michael Porter Jr., who's like going to be a star in this league, but he's still trying to find his way. Like, Michael Porter Jr. could be in a situation where he has to give the ball to Jokic every single time. And that's like the ownership is okay with that. The coach is okay with that. Jokic is okay with that. But Jokic is not okay with that. He wants to win games, and he knows by allowing this young player to grow is the way that he's going to be able to win more games. So Jokic he's my bad. MVP is
MVP. Call him by his given name. Incredible.
He is the MVP. I mean, like, it's funny, but I keep telling people it's over. Like, it's over.
Dude, it's been over.
This.
It truly, like, it is funny. Like, our egos are so fragile as Denver fans that anytime that Embiid or anybody else has a good game, we're like, oh God, that's it. It all shifted, and then Jokic is just steady. He just does the same thing every single night, completely reliable. I mean, he is by definition the most valuable player to the Denver Nuggets, the most valuable player to any team in the league. And I just don't know what we did. Like, what did we do to deserve Nikola Jokic? I feel like we've not been appreciative enough, or like we need to maybe do a human sacrifice, something to make sure that he stays happy.
It's true, man. It is true. Like, I've been telling people this all the time. Like, what is it that we got this guy, that he was sent to us?
It makes me feel better about me. You know, like I clearly did something.
He brought me so much happiness and so much joy over the time. Let's talk about Michael Porter real quick. You know, he did have the 23.7 rebounds, 1 assist, only 8 of 19 shooting, so a rare below 500 game for him. You know, this is the interesting thing about Porter tonight. A couple things. One, he hits like big shots, and the 3 he had at the end, I can't remember who it was that closed that right in his face. Porter has talked about, I don't see defenders because I'm so tall. It's true, man. Like, he was contested a 9 out of 10 contest, and it just didn't matter. Like, he didn't even see him. He just shoots right over the top, and that's what he brings. But what's interesting to me about tonight was I thought Michael Porter was very aggressive in this game, appropriately so. But also, you know, him and Malone got into a little skirmish right before the half, and Malone actually pulled him out. And I got nervous when that happened, guys. I'm not going to lie. Because I one day want to be
we're so fragile.
We are, but I want to be at the point where we're beyond that, right? Like, I want us to exist at the point like Jokic and Malone and Jokic never get into fights. You know, they never jawed each other. Like, early on there was, oh, why is he not playing in more minutes or this or that? But eventually you get past it and it's over. I want to be there with Michael Porter, but we're clearly not. But what I was happy with, second half, he starts. He comes out. He's aggressive. He looked unfazed. I was worried, you know, bad body language or something was going to show up. It wasn't the case. He just stayed aggressive and kept it moving, and ends up blowing him out in the second half.
And that's just the maturation of Michael Porter Jr. as well as Malone. Like, Malone as well. Like, in the past, I feel like Malone would have been so mad and so stubborn that he would have just said, I'm pulling him for the rest of the game, and it would have been a pissing match. But tonight, he's like, he tells them what he feels. They both say something as men, and then they get back to playing. Michael Porter Jr. comes back in the game, and he's not fragile or shuts down like I feel like he would have in the past. He comes right back out, and they make sure to give him the ball. Like, that's just the type of team that they've been. And those are good things to have. Like, you don't have to have a players meeting or anything like that to air your grievances. Like, he did it right then and there. It was in front of the entire arena. Like, it wasn't hidden. And then they get back to playing basketball. And he didn't feel like – I didn't feel like at any point he changed up what he does with Michael Porter Jr. So that's big. Like, really, he's maturing into a different player. And you could see it on the court as well. Like, everything is starting to come along with him. He has a better understanding of how to be a professional. I mean, we don't want the coach and a player arguing, no matter who it is. But to just be able to see that a young player got into it with a coach and then still continue to play his game that's good. That's good.
I saw a question in here. Somebody said, DNVR, don't forget to shout out your super chats.
We have no producer.
Guys, because the draft was today and it's so big, it really is the three of us. So I am self-producing as we do this. It's very difficult. So I apologize. We really appreciate everybody that sends us a super chat and everybody that comments. If you listen to this as a podcast, you don't know there's this whole ecosystem that goes on while the show is live, which is the live chat. And it's a lot of fun. But usually we have multiple people monitoring that and keeping on with it. Today we don't, so I apologize. It's the same reason the music was apparently super loud at the beginning. I'm like, I'm flying the plane and I'm bringing the drinks out right now.
No, you're flying the plane and you're crashing the plane.
Well, I am crashing the plane, but I am serving those drinks. Damn it! Let's take our first break. Help me out here because I'm going to try to get some music going. Okay?
Oh no! Are you going to play that same song?
No, I'm not. How is this for level of music? Is this a good underneath level? Is this good? Or can you hear it?
I'll be the judge. Let me hear.
I'm saying, can you hear?
I can't hear it. Also, that's a bad level.
All right, so that's a bad level. What about we here? Can we hear it? All right. Well, we seem like it's off the rails here. Want to tell you guys about Hassel Cattle Company. You guys know we brought you damn good beer. We're bringing you now damn good beef. Hassel Cattle Company, the best source for table to Wagyu beef. Did I say that right?
Dude, I made a $500 order to Wagyu to Hassel Cattle Company.
$500.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I really did.
It's a lot of beef, man. That's a lot of beef. And he isn't kidding, actually. I mean, we do this. We have like the company chat. We're always like, hey, who's ready to make another order from Hassel Cattle Company? So we're not just, selling this because they're a sponsor. We are also consuming them. And soon they will be at the bar. We thought they'd be here by now. In fact, I know that they're in. There's some kind of like red tape preventing us from serving it. But very soon you can go to the DNVR bar and get a Hassel Cattle Company burger. Go to HassellCattleCompany.com, HASSELL, cattlecompany.com. Use promo code DNVR10 for 10% off of your order. And orders of 200 or more, like Eric's order, free shipping.
Got free shipping, baby. Strategic. Just like you said. Got
very strategic.
As many people involved as possible.
Also want to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. The hits literally keep on coming from one boxing event to the next. They grow in excitement and anticipation, and this weekend is no different with two of the sport's most respected fighters stepping into the ring. There's no better place to get in on all the action than DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. And for the weekend's fight, I think it's next weekend, DraftKings offering new users a shot at turning $1 into $55. That's $1 on either main event fighter. So this is what's great about it. You can pick the favorite, you can pick the underdog, whatever it is, you're going to get 55-1. It's incredible. DraftKings Sportsbook, it's safe, secure, reliable, meaning you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Where does boxing rank on the best sports to bet on? I think it's up there, like boxing, MMA. They're so any sport that has a definitive, like you could win or lose in a second. That's what's so great about it.
It is, but it's like so hard. MMA specifically is like so hard to bet because the thing about MMA is that like even the best fighters in the world are like 5-8. Like they all lose fights. Like they are boxing is a little easier because like the champs are the champs, and you can go like Floyd Mayweather and win like 85 fights with 0 losses. But
right.
MMA, like you could just like find yourself in the wrong position, you get tapped out, it's over.
MMA is ridiculous, man. That fight over the weekend, like it just the fact when guys get cleanly knocked out, and then a minute later they're just like hugging each other. They're like, "Man, that was a great fight, bro." That's amazing.
It's like MPJ and Michael Malone.
It is like MPJ and Michael Malone. Let's keep going with the first unit. Campazzo deserves a lot more attention as well tonight. He gets 12 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and I thought once again he was fantastic. I mean, you talk about all the defenders Denver had. It's so funny, man. I'm telling you, you would have told me this just a few months ago that Denver's backcourt was Campazzo, Dozier, Shaq Harrison, Austin River. I'd be like, what the heck are you talking about? But guess what? They all step up, including Campazzo tonight. Dev, what did you see from Campazzo?
I seen a guard that took care of the ball, got everyone else involved, and just fit. Like he was aggressive. Even though the shots wasn't aggressive, he only took 5 shots tonight, and he also didn't like sit on the 3-point line and shoot the 3 the entire time. But he made sure he got to the free throw line, which just high IQ plays where he gets in front of guys and uses his body. He understands like the limitations he has as a small guard, but he's also really smart about how he is, like how he is with his small body. So he's really smart, and he's getting guys to foul him. He's getting in everyone's head the entire time. And I think that's a weapon. Like that is his weapon.
Yeah, it's true. I put this comment up and it distracted you. This is why I said you weren't excited, because you're sitting like this.
Whatever. But yeah, like I just feel like it's a weapon that he uses, and also he like the players just know that they could work harder when he's around, just because they know that they're going to get fed. He's going to feed every single person. He's going to do the zip passes, and it's not every single thing. It does not have to be flashy. Like he just gets the job done. This was a get a job done type of night for him.
I like this comment from Keith because I mean it's not quite overnight. It does feel that, but I'm there. I'm there now. Like the Facu roller coaster has been a lot like this, but I am now at the point where I just expect it every night. I mean, he's really won me over to where I think he should be an impact player. And even we talk about the postseason. Look, postseason is so different. There really are some things that are going to change and new challenges. But I'm so impressed with the way he has stepped into this larger role. And we talk about how the Nuggets have found a new identity. A lot of that is Facu. I mean, there's a Facu identity now to this team, and I'm just couldn't be more impressed with him. What about you, Eric? Is he frozen for you too, Dev?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there you are.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Man, I'm back. Man, tonight is garbage. What a garbage performance by us, the DNVR Nuggets. Facu Campazzo is in his bag. He's feeling super comfortable. He's just like doing he's not pressing at all, trying to score, trying to make the right play. He's just like doing Facu things, and it's like so incredible to see. He's like just going for steals. He's throwing the ball off of guys' shins. He's like in the right place at the right time. He's just a burst of energy, and I just love that he is. He's just feeling it. Like you could just tell that he's no longer questioning, like some were in the media, whether or not he's an NBA player. Like he knows he belongs. He's closing out games. He has the trust of absolutely everybody on the court, and he's just blossoming.
Yeah, he really is, man, and it's cool to see. I see someone says, in Argentina, we've been telling you this for all year. Yeah, not the most reliable source. I mean, there's been like a lot. Let's be honest, he wasn't great early on in the year, but that's what makes him, I think, a compelling storyline. And for me, easy to root for. Even when he was bad, you root for the guy because he plays so hard and he does these things. And to me, there has been real growth for him throughout the season, and he just looks comfortable now, and the team looks comfortable with him. Aaron Gordon tonight's an interesting one. 9.7 rebounds, 4 assists. He filled up the stat sheet a little bit. He's another one that I don't really have a ton of notes from him, and I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but he is a guy that sometimes makes really big plays, but more often than not, you just almost don't notice him, and that's how I felt tonight. What about you, Deb?
Yeah, I just feel like Aaron Gordon is like a fit-in guy, and they're going to need him on certain nights. This was just not a night that they desperately needed him. There's not a guy on the Raptors that he really needed to stop that got going or anything like that. You don't go into the game plan and think of on the second night of a back-to-back, we're going to really, really need you to stop OG Anunoby tonight. Like, I just don't think that it called for him to stand out tonight. And I think he's okay with these type of nights where he just could just free roam and just play. But, they're going to need him when they play against the Clippers. They're going to need him when they play against those Lakers and in teams like that. So those are the nights that you should actually judge him on. Last night, he played against Zion really, really well. So you don't expect him to have a great night against Zion, and then tonight he just tries to go all out. Like, you exerted all of your energy last night. That's okay.
Yeah, it is true, though. I mean, AG, this is what I mean by him is that his value is going to really show up in the moments that they need him most, against LeBron James in the first round, maybe Dallas possibly in the first round. Dallas, by the way, got a win tonight without Luka Doncic. That's a big win for them and a big win for Denver. So that one was nice. If we go back over to the bench, I see a lot of people mentioning Millsap. And, PJ Dozier, the plus-minus god tonight, but right close to behind him was Paul Millsap, 8.7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 3 of 6. That second unit, it's tough for who all to give credit to. There's a lot of guys. Is Millsap the leader of that unit, do you feel, Eric? Like, what role does he play on that, and what influence do you think he has on them?
I mean, I don't know that he is necessarily a leader in any way. I just think that when he plays well, he's just such a welcome addition. Things sort of make sense. And I mean, Paul Millsap is so up and down this season. A lot of it probably has to do with just the fact that he's close to my age, which is not good. But when he can, when he is rolling and being impactful, there are nights when he looks like he did when he first arrived here. And tonight he looked great. And it's just a huge boon to the bench, to that second unit. It just gives you another guy that you can rely upon. And so, I mean, I actually would imagine Paul Millsap is going to get better as we head into the playoffs, because I imagine there's been some amount of him coasting and sort of reserving energy throughout the middle of the season. Because frankly, he should, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how LeBron James has remained LeBron James for as long as he has. But I don't know, man. Paul Millsap still has it, just not every night.
Eric, I have a comment here. Still no Facu t-shirt drop? I mean, what's going on here, dude?
God damn it. I don't know what this I at a certain point I wished upon a cursed monkey's paw. I was like, I wish I could be a person in Denver sports that everybody looks to make t-shirts. And then now anything that ever happens, everyone's like, where's the goddamn t-shirt, Eric? I'm like, I don't know, man. I gotta sleep. I got a lot of stuff I have to do in my life. I will make a Facu t-shirt. It's coming. I can't
wait. All of Argentina's gonna buy it.
I know. It's going to happen. I will do it. I will do it for you, specifically Argentina.
So the greatest almost dunker in the NBA today, it is not Aaron Gordon. It is not Zach LaVine. It's not RJ Hampton. It's not LeBron James. It's not any of those guys. It's JaMychal Green. He is this close to being the greatest dunker in all of the NBA because he has 5 of the most ambitious dunks I've ever seen. And he's so close. I don't know if he's close or not to him. Do you know this, Dev? You know the guy when you go to the gym, the guy that just tries to dunk it all, but he can't actually dunk. I feel like that might be JaMychal Green. He always tries these crazy dunks, but I've never seen him actually have a great dunk.
See, that's kind of how I feel about, not to talk about football, but Von Miller. I feel like he always is almost there.
What are you talking about? You must have missed the Super Bowl, I guess.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
So since then, that's all it's been is he's almost got to the quarterback. He leads the end.
All right, Eric, so what do you think?
Unbelievable. I know. How's Von Miller catching strays? What the hell?
That might be the worst take in this show's history. There have been some bad ones. Von Miller almost sacks people. What are we talking about here, man?
I'm serious. I'm still back, and I'm.
All right. This is the nice thing about the StreamYard version of the show.
Even if you are crashing the plane, every now and again, you can, it's at least you can decide the flight path.
This does end with just me talking.
It becomes a notebook episode.
Notebook episode. No, but JaMychal Green tonight, I mean, you go to the Millsap and J-Mike combo, and he goes 6 of 9, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line. I thought that early on in this game, he had some frustrating plays. And actually, I think that JaMychal Green has pretty frustrating moments with the Nuggets. He makes some really bad fouls sometimes, and ones, and just things like that he does. But I thought in the second half, as everybody was good, and he was a huge part of that.
I feel like this was a really good JaMychal Green game, and then also for him and Paul Millsap to get going at the exact same time is why that second unit was so well. He is Von Miller, but back to that, he's playing well, and this is the night that he knocked down his 3-ball. He also is grabbing boards, even with Paul Millsap. We're critical of Paul Millsap. That was an excellent Paul Millsap game. He grabbed 7 rebounds. He's scoring and getting to his spots. And that's only in 16 minutes played. If he played a full game, we would say that that's a regular Paul Millsap game because he scores more, he grabs more rebounds. But he did it in 16 minutes. JaMychal Green is doing it in small minutes and not playing the exact same way. And that's just how they're going along. So big JaMychal Green night for him, even though it's the almost sacks.
Yeah. Almost. I can't believe this guy.
I really like you just really digging your heels into this. Both of you. This is a classic Malone MPJ standoff. Adam and Dev versus Von Miller.
That's exactly it. But you know what? I'm getting the most out of Dev. Everybody's crediting Dev. They're saying he's the MVP, but the man behind the MVP here is myself. Also, I see this a lot in the chat, by the way, in Mackey, where he's at. Adam's such a bully, bad look. you understand we're friends here, Ed Mackey. You understand that they don't care. Okay, so you should care a lot less.
We're joking around. We Adam not actually a bully. Real bullies aren't fun to work with. Adam is marginally fun to work with.
Thank you. Exactly, marginally fun. You guys get with it. The newest Nugget, Austin Rivers, had an interesting night. I mean, we've been clamoring for him to make shots. He goes 2 of 7. So. Not great, but he makes 2 of 7 threes, and I do feel like the 2 that he hit early on were important ones. Where are we at with Austin Rivers, Eric?
Austin Rivers is a terrible shooter. Every time he shoots the ball, I want to kill myself. He did have a couple, like I don't know, like early on, I was like, oh man, did he already get too comfortable because he signed his full contract and now he's just gonna let himself go. He's all right. Like, I mean, Malone trusts him in sort of high leverage situations, which says quite a bit and is valuable. I wish very desperately that Austin Rivers wasn't a player I had to analyze or watch, but like here we are, we live in the Shaq Harrison, Austin Rivers, anybody else that we can just find on the street to put next to Jokic time. So it's fine, whatever. Like he's fine. He's definitely an NBA player, sort of. And I don't know, like the feed I was watching, like they did like a whole feature on Austin Rivers and like showed him with his family and behind the scenes. And I was like, man, I don't care. I gotta be honest.
Really?
I don't know, man. Like I'm just like deeply unimpressed with Austin Rivers, but I don't. I like that we have a guy that we can put on the floor, and he's not a total negative.
I don't think I'm unimpressed with Austin Rivers. I might not be impressed, but I'm not unimpressed. Where are you at, Dev?
I'm on the opposite end as Eric, and even tonight, when Eric was upset, I felt that Austin Rivers looked really comfortable out there.
He did. Yeah. He looked too comfortable for my like.
Now, I like the fact that he finally calmed down, and that's when he started to make shots. Then he heard that negativity. Eric put that negativity in there, and that's when he started making shots.
People like it. Shots. Yeah, people like it.
But at that point, the game is, it was out of, like, it was gone. It was done. Yeah. He wasn't taking them at the times that he, like, just didn't need to. He still played within the flow of the offense. He got his scoring going early. And then at that point, when they let the leash off and you just get to go play, I think that's street ball for him. That's what he wants to do anyway. So that's when the bad came. But when he was in there with the starters, or when he was in there with, like, his unit, he was scoring and he was making the smart reads and plays that he had to.
Yeah. The guy I think we're all impressed with, because I think Austin Rivers has been good, but it is TBD. Let's see if he continues to make shots. I'm impressed with his buy-in. He feels like a Nugget to me now. He got a little thirsty tonight. I didn't think so much, but, we'll see. But the guy that I'm just, like, enthralled with, Shaq Harrison.
He's the best.
This guy, it's funny, you look at the stats tonight, he was a -9, but we're going to talk about why the deep bench unit remains the worst 5-man lineup in the history of basketball. We're going to talk about that in a second, whether it matters or not. But Shaq Harrison, his defense really is elite. I've seen a lot of people have sent me, is Shaq Harrison everything that Gary Harris was? Because if you think about it, Gary Harris was, by the last 2-3 years in Denver, not a reliable three-point shooter. Shaq Harrison hit one tonight. But it did feel like found money. Like, I don't know that shot doesn't necessarily look pretty, but my God, that guy can defend. Like, he might be an elite defender. Dev, are you ready to give him elite defensive status?
Defense, yes. I'm not all the way high on him like everyone else is, but I do think that he's good, and he's also, like, proven himself with the Nuggets. Like, that speed, it changes the whole dynamic of the Nuggets. That first unit, I feel like, is a slower, high IQ, like, grind it out type of team. And then you have this guy that's just zipping around the entire time. But he's so active defensively, and he covers so much ground with just his speed. His rotations are great. The help side defense is excellent. He's even like, the thing that always stands out to me is how he wants to help the big man for some reason, as if he's a big guy or something. Yeah. But he's always in help side just to let the like he's stunting to let them know you can't throw it over the top because I'm going to help, but I also could get back to my man. So I really do think that he is an elite defender. And that's something that you need to stay in the league for a long time. I feel like this was the perfect stint for him to be able to be a backup for a lot of years now, just because he found a niche and he's sticking with it and going.
Does it make you, Eric, like him anymore, knowing that Utah had him and Utah fans really liked him as like, you always like the guy that's like the fifth guard. He's just outside the rest. He's like their Wancho almost, but only obviously a defensive player. And they cut him, just thinking we had nothing to do. There was no use for him. And now he's shining for Denver. Does that make it better?
Of course it does. That's incredible. Shaq Harrison he's my favorite Shaq and my favorite Harrison. He's the best. Like both of those guys are out, dude. I consolidated into one, and his defense is incredible. Sorry, I mean you got to show up. No, yes, that does feel good. That feels like very much Wancho-esque, very Malik Beasley-esque, where you have this good player that you can't quite fit on the squad. It's our rival, and we actually get to get real minutes out of this guy, and he fits right in. Like I was saying earlier, when he was slotted in with the starters, and he looked so comfortable. It looked like he was absolutely belonged out there, and I can't believe we were able to just pick him up off the scrap heap.
So I'm going to get a little basketball. Usually on these winners lounges, I don't get too much into some of the X's and O's, and I'll probably get into the film a little bit. But one of the things I've been noticing, and I noticed it again tonight, Denver doesn't have a lot of floor spacers, but they have two things now with the new players that they didn't have on the offensive end before. You've got really good passers, obviously in Campazzo, even in Dozier's a guy, but you also have guys that can get past the first line of defense, especially if it's a scrambled defense. And one of the things that happened in this game, New Orleans was trying to play Jokic one-on-one, and they score. Tonight, Toronto tried to overload a little bit more onto Jokic, and one of the things that happened was you kick the ball out, and you've got Facu who can make plays, get the ball where it's supposed to, but you've also got Shaq Harrison and Dozier and Austin Rivers who can attack closeout. So now if you overload on Jokic, if you try to cheat, right? If you're playing against, if the other team doesn't have shooters, you cheat by overloading on one side. You get it out quickly and swing it around the horn and attack the guys that are busy in recovery now and recovering from help side. And Denver has guys that can do that. That's one of the reasons tonight Denver's offense was very good. And Jokic, did he have a lot of assists? Once again, no, 2 assists. But what's happening is he's drawing the defense into overload and getting out to guys who are capable of making passes or breaking down the defense off of the dribble. And I think it's a thing that teams are going to have to now adjust to. It's just another way you can win offensively with Jokic.
I feel like they're adjusting even right now, and that's why Jokic is able to hurt teams, especially scoring. But everyone else is getting involved because not only does that chip at them right now, but it chips at them later in the game where they're like, I don't know if we should overload anymore. And Jokic has already figured out the overload by the time that they decide to make the adjustment. So what you're seeing right now is a small chess match, but it's like a guy he knows exactly what you're about to do. So you're dumb for even trying it. So you got to try to do it early on until he picks it up. And then once he picks it up, then they just do this dumb look. I don't know. What do you do now?
That is a really dumb look. You're not.
It's the only way to describe that. Only way.
So what's our competence meter right now, guys? The team is on a roll. It's wild when you go back and look at they have the best record over the last 20 games and so on and so forth. Where are you at, Eric?
Dude, I don't know what to do with my hands. I really don't understand. I was as devastated as I've ever been as a Nuggets fan 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I
came back and am I can you hear me?
I can. You cut out, but it's not too bad. It's just barely.
Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, things were as bleak as they felt like they could ever be when we lost Jamal Murray. And then we came back, we won 2 games. It was like, all right, maybe we can make this happen. Lose Will Barton, down in the dumps, considering ending it all. And then we just keep winning. We just keep winning. And it just turns out it's all about Nikola Jokic. For all of the team building, all of the confidence building, all of the other players finding their groove, it really just comes down to MVP Nikola Jokic being able to put the entire squad on his back and allowing players to be the best versions of themselves. And so for that, as long as we have Nikola Jokic, I'm just supremely confident from this moving on. I look back a while ago. I mean, I put out into the world, when I looked at the schedule going into the second half of the season that I thought we were going to win 47 games. And like now I think I might be low.
I like this comment here. Somebody says vibes are at Brandon vote level. I don't know what that means. Brandon vote. It's like Brandon used to be what we called vote when he was like evil vote.
Yeah. They're immaculate, but they're immaculate. Remember, Brandon Vogt was he was the green immaculate level, dude. Vibes are immaculate again. People are feeling it. I'm feeling it, man. This was the second night of a back-to-back. That is in the NBA. That's like just a scheduled loss. And this was a team that just absolutely beat the shit out of the Nuggets. Granted, like they were on an emotional high. They thought they were going to lose their heart of their squad, and they just took it to the Nuggets. But the fact that the Nuggets were able to beat them down in this way, with not even relying on Jokic, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think of this. Like, it doesn't feel like it's slowing down.
What do you think, Dev? Is it going to slow down? I mean, here's one thing to think about. There's a shot of reality coming up. This is the next 5 games: Clippers, Lakers, Utah, Knicks, Nets. They could go 0-5 in that stretch. That's how good these teams are. Denver has not been tested quite like this.
Not at all.
So, Dev, are you feeling like this is sustainable, what we're seeing?
I think that I'm not going to say sustainable because they just don't lose anymore. But I will say that the vibes are immaculate. And the reason that they are is because everyone on the Nuggets got better. Every single player got better.
Every Nugget is good, baby.
Every Nugget is good. But really, they've all found their way. And this was a team that had so much – they've had so much like that they've had to learn and they've had to overcome, and that goes all the way to coaching, down to Michael Porter Jr. trying to figure out his way, all the way to even Jokic elevating his game to being an MVP. Like every single person has gotten better, and when they've lost their point guard, there still was never an excuse of we're just not going to be the same team. You know how hard it is to play without your point guard. No, it was the next man up the very next day, and they've been sticking with that. The same way that Brandon Vogt has been sticking with these shirts.
I was going to say, speaking of next man up, we do have a next man up here, and it is Brandon Vogt, as the chat was calling you tonight.
Yeah, what's up with that, Dev? I was like, did I miss something here? Or do we just –
Dude,
it's the chat. They said the vibes are Brandon Vogt level. Look
at this jaunty look you've got with the glasses hanging off the – holy Lord. This is a little too much to take for me.
This is like Oceans. This is like an Oceans movie.
Holy
Oceans 11, yeah.
Oceans 4, dude.
I'm putting a new leaf, bro.
Dude, you are so classy, man. You are so classy.
I think he's going Hunter S. Thompson on us.
He's a little Hunter S. Thompson. I like it. Some gonzo journalism we're about to get from him here. I guess I'll put the break. You guys get lucky today. I'm gonna put the ads in post. So I'm just gonna skip that for you. You guys I would make Vogt do it right now, but he went to the arena and he actually hustled today. He actually worked. So but I am curious to say, so just as a little bit of a tease, I saw that you put something out that said something like, let me see, Moach throwing flames tonight.
Yeah.
Are these good flames or bad flames? Are these like Bowser flames?
No, good flames. Good flames. He was feeling himself, guys. He was. It's a good night from Michael when he starts talking in Spanish with the reporters.
Whoa.
He's feeling loose. He's feeling himself.
He loves Facu more than anybody. He loves Facu more than Argentina loves Facu. It is incredible.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, it's true.
There's no chance.
I'm telling you, it is true.
So if you guys didn't know, this was Michael Malone's 300th NBA victory today as a head coach.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really – I think that's actually a cool thing.
Me too. And he didn't know. And he talked about how he doesn't really pay attention to that stuff. And I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember he was kind of rude to Harrison Wind when Wind asked him about a question like that when he passed.
He was a dick. I'll say it. He was a dick, man.
But I'm telling you.
He's trying to get the best out of Harrison.
Dude, he brought it up again tonight. He was talking about how he referenced it. I know he feels guilty, but he's basically just saying that he really doesn't pay attention to that stuff. And he mostly just pays attention to his team. But he did say that when you're lucky enough to work with people you care about and love like he does, every day is a nice day at work.
Was he talking about us?
That's right.
I was going to say, I hopefully someday I'm as lucky as Michael Malone.
Let's get into some of these quotes here, shall we, guys?
Dude, let's get into them. You're a man.
So the start of the fourth quarter, as you guys know, the bench really blew that thing open with some defense. If anyone was expecting that to please Michael Malone, you are correct.
Let's go.
The start of that fourth quarter was, he pauses for a second, exhilarating for me. He's a defensive-minded head coach. That was some of the best basketball that we've seen our group play. He talked about kills. They track kills as a stat on that team. That means 3 stops in a row on defense. And he said for the game we had 9 kills, and in the fourth quarter we had 3. Paul Millsap and JaMychal Green were at the forefront of that. He said they were both phenomenal. But yeah, he really just shouted out that group. And how could you not? This was a close game until it was a blowout, and it was those 5 guys that got it done.
It's true, man. I mean, I think they were going to win one way or another, but because they did have momentum in the upper hand. But man, to slam the door shut the way they did with just, I'm surprised it was only 3 kills in the fourth quarter, to be honest. Because maybe does it count if you get 6 stops in a row? Is that 1 kill or is that 2 kills?
Probably 2 would be my guess, Adam. But
because I felt like they had 12 stops in a row. I mean, for a while there, I just felt like Toronto couldn't score.
It was huge. And, Malone talked about one of the reasons it was huge is that they got to rest Nikola Jokic in the fourth quarter. And it's something that they don't really get to do. And Malone shed a little light on why tonight. He just said Jokic does not like to sit. He says that Jokic takes great pride in his Serbian heritage. And as Jokic always tells him, Serbian guys don't sit out.
Oh, my God.
Miroslav.
Music.
Yeah, dude, the Serbians are just drooling right now. Miroslav's eyes are rolling back into his head. But yeah, so that was a big thing, was getting Jokic some rest down the stretch. But also, I really enjoyed that insight that Jokic's perspective on the matter.
Can you guys hear it?
Single tear.
Single tear. Serbians really don't rest.
Guys. For everyone wondering why Jokic is the only star who was able to play deep into the bubble and not miss any time this year, simple answer, he's Serbian. Next question.
I love it, man. I love it.
I don't understand. Well, the confusing part to me is that Dev, a Serbian, I feel like he does nothing but rest.
This player's killing me. Hang on.
I don't understand what's happening here. Also, Jokic has a different type of lineage. He's just Serbian. I'm a black Serbian. It's a little bit different.
Important distinction. That's right.
That's so funny.
Malone talked about Porter, guys, and I tweeted out, and we all noticed on Press Row, at the end of the first half, if you guys remember, Porter was subbed out with 1 minute left for PJ Dozier.
We remember.
And he was not happy. He and Malone there was a little tension. Obviously,
was he asked about this?
Hear what was said from all the way up there, but you could tell they were chirping a little bit. Malone was pulling his mask down. He was really trying to get a point across. Porter was obviously much better in that second half, was out there with that bench group, and Malone let them run. He didn't really take the bait when asked about the difference in how he thought Porter played in the 2 halves. He mostly just focused on the second half, and he said, I think Michael is becoming a complete basketball player. I think it's incredible. Michael Porter has proven himself to be as valuable as we all hoped when we drafted him 3 years ago. And then one more note. I also thought in that first half, I was wondering, Malone did say that they need Porter to score no matter what's happening and what the defense is doing and how the defense is approaching Jokic. So for once, guys, I actually think what Malone took issue with was Porter's approach on the offensive end there in the final minute of that first half. He was pleased with him, and he lauded him after the game.
Man, that's really good to hear. I mean, it calms my nerves. I'm not going to lie. I had a little nerves. I didn't want to overstate it. I'm a worrier. What can I say?
That you're a worrier.
Well, we said that part.
We have a tough love relationship. Alyssa Fleury hitting the nail on the head because we got to talk to Michael Porter tonight, and we talked about just that. He said he and Coach Malone got a great relationship. They've really grown in their trust and communication. They're constantly talking to each other. On the 300th win, Porter was stoked for him. He said they poured water on him in the locker room. But there was a more, I thought, sort of enlightening quote where he just sort of talked about Mike Singer asked him about people getting into him, whether that's his teammates, his coach, and how he responds. And Porter said, growing up, when you play in AAU, if you play for certain coaches, they literally just let you do whatever you want, and you develop some bad habits. But he said his coaches were not like that in AAU. They were very hard on him because of habit building. And he said Coach Malone is no different. He does not mind the constructive criticism at all. I just thought that was a really interesting insight. And I would have assumed the opposite, to be honest, that he's such a talented guy that maybe no coach ever really sort of took the reins the way Malone has. But Porter was saying, look, like, this is not his first rodeo. This is not the first coach that's taken this approach. And he's cut out for it. He doesn't mind it.
Yeah. We have to get to an important chat here. Charles in Charge reference. Who knew that was coming today?
Brendan, have you ever seen an episode of Charles in Charge?
No, I don't know what.
Have you ever seen an episode of Charles in Charge?
What are we talking about here?
All right,
Jason Cap, clearly a fellow old, as Eric Lab. You want to know that this is Eric? I don't know if your childhood was anything like mine, but starting around the age of 8 or so, for summers, you just stayed home and watched TV. Like it's just like I was very young when it was just like, all right, no babysitter. We can't do that. So you guys just watch daytime television all day. Like, all right, cool, perfect.
Charles in Charge was not daytime television. Charles in Charge was a show that would come on after cartoons, leading into the evening. It was family friendly. Also, don't worry, we'll watch it later. We'll do a sleepover, Brendan. I'll get you down with it. Joni loves Chachi, the whole thing.
The most topical 1985 references. It's so true.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Porter, is it called Mocan? He played for with Trae Young. Is that
Missouri, Kansas? Yeah, Mocan.
So one of my homies, Ross Homan of the Stepien, quote tweeted to me tonight about that quote from Porter, and he just said that's Mocan. That's what they're known for. It's an elite program. So just thought that was an interesting note. More from Porter when asked about guarding other star players. He said, "I welcome it. I am trying to be a star player myself. I do not want to be one of those stars that hides from the other team's best player. This comes with it."
Like Joel Embiid?
Like, honestly, most stars at this point in the NBA. And so I just thought that was cool. I just thought that was
cool, man. I can't believe the vibes with this team right now. I just never would have guessed it.
Dude. These guys, they're feeling it, man. I mean, I just can't believe how many games they have won this year for all the things that have broken wrong for them. Here they are. One more thing from Porter. He said he's encouraging Austin Rivers to be even more aggressive. Quote, Austin is a bucket.
Who said this?
The new guy, Brent. What is this bit, bro?
People are just flaming. I never read the chats while we're doing the show. It's very distracting, but also harsh.
Yeah, dude.
Just wow. Bad for my psyche. I'm gonna be like, if this was a loss, this would be a really tough chat to be reading.
We can see these guys. Jermichael Green. Jermichael Green said it started with stops. We got a couple of kills that got us in transition, and that's really the fun part of the game for us. So, I mean, what I took from that, guys, the second unit, I think we're starting to now as media, but it's not gotten enough credit for, as ugly as it is for them offensively, they're actually dragging their opponents down with them through the muck. And it's been some grind fest and some slog fest. And tonight there was a payoff for them in that they got to run. They got, Paul got to play make a little bit. Jermichael got to jump, which, by the way, Jermichael can jump a little bit.
Can he?
Yes. Yes,
a little bit.
He has 3 dunks this year, or attempted dunks that you look at, you go, I did not think that body could even do that. So,
well, you just said it right. He had attempted dunks.
He had 2 whatever. Anyway, I'm moving on.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah, sorry, Donnie. I don't know if you noticed the global pandemic going on. Okay. One more thing from Jermichael Green. You know what, guys? I'm doing it. Shh. One more thing from Jermichael Green. First class pandering to our friends down south. Apropos of almost nothing. Quote, I just want to give a big shout out to Facu. Cosign.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I just want to give a shout out to Facu as well.
I can't get over somebody referring to Austin Rivers as a bucket. Does that just mean that you can that you can just fill him with water?
Man, he must be impressive in practice. He had 11 points tonight, which is, he had a few buckets.
Wait, he actually did have 8 points in like 3 minutes in the first quarter.
Maybe I missed that.
At that point, he was the only bench player to have scored. But yeah, I'm with you guys. The Austin Rivers being a bucket thing, maybe a little bit overstated around these points. But you know what he has been, guys? A better defender than I thought.
Great point. Great point.
And tonight I thought that shined through. I thought he did a really good job. On that note, he, Shaq, Facu, I thought were all really good defensively tonight. Facu, we talk so much about how can he get in the heads of these other guys. Kyle Lowry stopped playing basketball tonight and got in a full-on grift contest with Facu, and he lost.
Yeah.
And there was the one play where this game was still winnable. Lowry comes down. He doesn't even consider running some sort of nice looking half court set or just finding an open look. No, he just chucks up a three and goes for the foul call, doesn't get it, and airballs it. And he's jawing with the ref all the way back down the court. In my mind, that is a Facu effect in full play.
So great. Dude, I love how you were bold for 11 seconds with your mask, and you put it right back on.
We'll for sure not let me back in here. So,
well, man, I got that. First of all, fantastic stuff, Vote. Great hearing from. There's some really good quotes, and it sounds like they are feeling the vibe that we are also feeling, which is always great. You never want to, be off on that. But can you is the outro music the right level? I can't hear it, so I have to.
It's a little quiet.
A little quiet. Let's pump it up for a little emotional effect here, because I'm telling you guys, this is we just got through the fun part. That scene in Jurassic Park where he's like, "Quiet, all of you. We're approaching the Tyrannosaur paddock." That's where we are. That's where we are. It's like, this has been a fun little ride. We've had some fun, but everybody quiet, because here we go. Clippers, Lakers, and this Clippers game. It's a real test. What was it, Bo? You had something?
Well, it's just crazy, dude. It's just crazy to think that this game in the end is going to have such massive implications.
This team is so resilient. It's just so great. They're so easy to root for, man. And now you go up against the Clippers team that, has liked to rest, has liked to kind of skate through, similar to what they did last year. And here's Denver that's like, nope, come out to the streets. It's time for a fist fight. And guess what? Clippers are probably going to be heavily favored in that game, and as they should be. But if you're a Nuggets fan, this stretch of 5 games, it's like, hey, here we go. It's fight time, and that's what makes this season so rewarding. I saw somebody in the chat say this has been such an up and down season, and it has. But I'm thankful for that in a lot of ways. Like we talk about it, sports are at their best when you feel all the range of emotions. You hope that you finish on a high. You don't want to finish on the low. But I am glad that we as fans, like this Nuggets team as players, have gotten to get through all of this, and it's a real process. The 72 games, when it's all said and done, will have been a real process, and I just think there's nothing you can compare that to.
That's so true. And frankly, the season has been more up than down. We're closing in on a wildly successful season. It just, the darkest times have been exquisitely dark.
For sure.
And it feels, if you think about the events that have occurred, this should be the nadir by all means.
There it is.
They went 13-3, guys, in that month. I mean, that's ridiculous. One more thing, arena, the Bull novelty. It's as loud as the arena gets all night. But you know who else is into it? The players. You should. I'm talking about Will Barton's hamstring. When Bull puts the ball on the floor, when Bull touches the floor, everyone's excited. The players included. That's still the best show in garbage time in my mind.
Dev, you got anything for the people? You want to apologize for what you said earlier about Von Miller? Or can we end this? We had too good of a show for you just to let that hang there, man.
You're right. No, I owe it to the people. I will absolutely not.
Get out of here. He's out of here. Dev is gone. Straight kick from the show. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us tonight. This was a very fun, if not, look, it was a messy winner's lounge. We got off to a rough start, but you know what? We steered into the skid properly, and here we are.
This show was a mess, but you know what? I wouldn't be part of a mess with any other guys but you. You guys. I'll stare into that nadir with you two anytime.
There you go. Everybody else, get out safely. Leave a like on the way out. We're gonna see you again Saturday. Clippers, gonna be a big one. We're gonna be back at the DNVR bar. I can't wait.
With a producer. Let's go.